Technology is evolving faster than we can even understand it, and that's dangerous. In this episode, Shakis and I are going to break down how mastery, not speed, defines real progress in the real world. From martial arts to AI, we'll explore why understanding is the ultimate weapon.
Just the other day, the Gamecock is this wonderful student I was talking to. His name is CJ Leathers, I think his name is. Called me about. I think they were doing a story. First, they were doing a story about the Jubilee Festival, and then he was like, after talking with me, he was like, "Man, we're doing this other story about AI and art. I love to talk to you about that too." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so, in that conversation, we were talking about, issues. And one of the issues that I have, not as an artist, more so as a media educator, is in order to understand a language, you have to understand the rules. And it's one of the things about tech that I am so frustrated about over the last since 2007.
Okay.
What we've done with tech is just give it to people.
Yes.
We haven't
Agreed.
said here
Yeah.
are the rules.
Right.
And what you described and what I just described is one of those areas where just because you can doesn't mean that you should. And I like to use language in its place because imagine you're going to a country that speaks Spanish and you're like, I want to engage in some Spanish. But instead of asking someone who speaks Spanish, you go to your Google Translate app.
Yeah.
You put in what you want to say, and then you try to say that to a person. Because you don't understand the rules of spoken language,
Right.
they're still going to look at you like you're an idiot because what you putting in the Google Translate is translating written
word
Spanish.
for word. Yeah.
It's translating word for word. It's not translating spoken Spanish.
Mhm.
And anyone that knows any language knows that the written version and the spoken version is different, just like we're talking English right now. But most of the words I'm using, if you were to write it down, it would not make any sense.
If you read it, yeah. You ever read a transcript from a podcast, whatever? You're like, I can't comprehend any of this.
Comprehend because spoken language and written language, even just now I said written.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
I said written. How do you write the word written? That's not, you know what I'm saying?
You have to,
you have to know the rules. And I think AI is another one of those places where we go, just like we did with the iPhone or your Galaxy 10 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We go, here you go do things with this. And people go, oh, well, I can just
ask chat.
I can just ask chat and I'm going to send you suggestions that chat sent me, even though I don't know anything about this world I'm talking about. Chat knows. And so I'm going to send it to you as a suggestion. And it's just like, yo, that is breaking so many rules.
Yeah. First off,
that you
it's
have
insulting
not.
Me.
How about this one? It's insulting you.
Yeah.
It's insulting the person that's actually doing it, but
they don't even know.
You don't even know. And the point I was making about AI art, I was like, the thing that most people don't understand as a user is education is not about using. Education is about comprehension.
Yeah.
Right. No different than, I love the talking to Eugene because I can always use these martial arts and analogies,
you fit in well.
analogies I know you understand. It's no different than, we were talking about this earlier before we started recording, when you're teaching someone
we had a whole hour-long podcast.
We did. When you're teaching someone a martial art, it's not about the utility.
Right.
It's about you being able to comprehend.
That's right.
It's about the when do you use it and why do you use it and how much force are you using. It's not about just, I want to learn a roundhouse. Again, it's one of the reasons why I like movies so much, right? Cobra Kai, what does everybody want to do on Cobra Kai? Hey, I just saw this dude kick some ass. I want to learn how to kick some ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, no. It's about comprehension, not about utility. And what has happened with tech, because tech, everybody wants to be fast. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to make money right now. Everybody wants to be the market fast, which is one of the things I don't like about Gary Vaynerchuk, because he pushes people to that. You want to be fast. You want to be fast. No, you don't want to be fast.
He annoys me, but yeah.
You want to comprehend, because if you comprehend,
Can't believe you just brought up Gary Vaynerchuk.
I did, because it's fresh in my mind, because I just saw a video of him promoting something online this morning when I was doing my little toilet browse. And I was like, there he goes again, telling people to be fast. And it's one of the reasons why we're in the place that we're in when it comes to tech as a society, is because we've been trained to be fast as opposed to being trained to be educated. And I don't remember another. Actually, let me go back. There hasn't been another time in human history where we had to adapt to tools that we were not educated on first.
Yeah.
Nobody just gave us a hammer and was like, go to town.
It's pretty weird.
They said, here's how you use a hammer.
Yeah.
Here's how you use a
hit the nail. Don't hit your brother. That's the first thing my dad said.
For real?
No. It was implied. So do you use AI for anything?
All the time.
What do you
what
are your tools of choice?
Generative. I like generative text, generative AI.
Okay.
Gemini is my friend.
Oh, you like Gemini?
is my friend. I use them both. I use chat for all like my personal stuff. I use Gemini for all my business stuff. And it's like my personal assistant when I'm thinking through projects, when I'm thinking through writing, when I'm thinking through processes. It's a really good assistant.
It's very helpful.
It's very extremely helpful when you understand the rules.
Yeah.
If you don't understand the rules, I can see how you easily think that it is instead of it being like something that can enhance what you're doing, it's something that can replace.
It's not going to replace.
And that's what happens in the, I'm not a designer, but AI does. So let me throw this in the AI and get it spit a design out. It's like, no. You got to understand the rules of design first. Because even when you do that, you're going to get a design back and you're going to be like, oh, that's cool. But then you're going to use it and any designer is going to go, oh, that's shit.
That's some AI slop.
Right. And you're like, but it looks so cool. You're like, well, put it on a t-shirt or make it black and white. And then they're like, oh, it is kind of shitty now. It's because you don't understand the rules of design.
That's right.
And so, it's a very, very, very slippery place we've been in for some time now. That is really biting us in the ass. When it comes to society, starting to.
Have you adopted any AI sort of discussion points or whatever in your media literacy work?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I figured you have.
More specifically, what do you mean?
Just anything. Like if you have what? Like you'll say you're lecturing a group of students about media literacy. At what point does AI enter the discussion?
Almost all the time.
Okay.
Right? Because it's where we are. And one of the things that I do, if I'm being completely clear when it comes to media literacy conversations that we're having at OTR, is always going to be based around what we call the screen language model. Is being able to treat the screen as a language. Like you have to learn the language of the screen. Like how is it designed to communicate messages to you? And so when you're thinking about it in that context, we have to talk about AI all the time because it's one of the tools that are being used to create communication techniques to you through a screen. And so we heavily talk about AI because it's the now. And being able to be literate in where we are right now is really important to us, and it's important to the work that I do. I'm personally passionate about that work, and so again, I think it was cool. I don't even know if it was cool, but what I mean is, like, when you would go to the store and when you were getting a new iPhone, or you were getting some new tech, and then they set it up for you and gave it to you. I don't think we thought much about that process of, I don't know how this works, but this is really cool. That's what I mean by this was cool at that time. But that's evolved to this tool that can generate processes.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute, is it still cool to give me this tool without me actually understanding how it works?
Probably
And
not.
I don't know if it is anymore.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if it ever was. I mean, what do you think about
No,
that? Was
I
it
don't think
ever?
so.
Did it ever? I don't know if
Well,
it ever was cool. It was convenient,
yeah,
right? But I don't know now that we're here where anybody can. I mean, chat's free.
it can be. Yeah.
You know, they have a free version,
Mm-hmm.
and many generative AI platforms are free. Even image generation, they even have
That's how they get you. Give you that first taste for free.
yeah, to get you that taste for free. There's automated, for machine learning AI that's free. There's some tools that are free, and it's like, ooh, we've kind of gotten in the habit of come and get your
Yeah.
flat screen, come and get
Yeah.
your Galaxy 10, you know what I mean? And give it to your grandma.
Yeah.
And we're all like 13-year-olds,
Mhm.
12-year-olds with
They're
these
just toys.
things, and we don't understand the rules
I
of
think
them at all.
I'm not as worried about this stuff taking away what I do.
Oh, no, not at
I
all.
do realize that like me with my skill set augmented by AI is
Mhm.
pretty damn powerful.
Oh, man.
And I think
100%.
like if we're teaching people or trying to enable people to use these tools, I think that's how we should approach it.
Yes, 100%.
It does bug me when I'll be on Instagram or wherever and I'll see a Sam Altman, like, AI pitch man, like we're gonna lay off half our developers by next year, or
Yeah.
or was it Bill Gates will be like, well, by 2030 we'll be, AI will be farming food for us and we won't even be eating. It's like, well, what the hell is that? Like,
Yeah.
and I always can't help myself. I write like, oh, surprise, AI pitch man pitching like pitching AI,
Yeah, I mean, it's a really wild and tricky and interesting place. And I think that
it's like
part
two
of the
layers of
reason,
media literacy going on.
yeah, I think part of the reason we're in that place is A, most people aren't media literate, but B, we have become used to using tools
Yeah.
and not used to comprehension. Education has been put on the back burner when it comes to all of these tools. And I think people think education means utility now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can use it, so I'm educated. Even when it
Yeah.
comes to arguments.
Yeah. You
right?
have
I went
not.
on YouTube, I watched a 5-minute video. I'm educated.
You're not. You haven't comprehended the lesson.
There's no comprehension.
You have
at
just
all.
heard someone or read something regurgitating the lesson.
Yeah.
You haven't comprehended it.
Yes. It's the reason why, like, whenever you see like a young kid fight like a 65-year-old person on Instagram
Yeah.
that's been doing jiu-jitsu for 40
Yeah.
years, even though they're old and bent over, they still kick your ass
Yeah.
because they have comprehension.
They understand the principle, son.
Thank you.
You just know the move.
You just know the move.
It's
Yeah.
what was I gonna say? This is just a slight subject change, but talking about media literacy and everything.
Sure.
It was Mr. Beast coming out of left field for you. He someone leaked like his company manifesto. So
really?
we should have got you on just for that. I'd love to parse that whole thing, but
Sure.
it's like a 100-page manifesto that he wrote.
I believe it.
And it's like clearly written by someone with ADHD or whatever. But
Oh, wow.
he goes through all these points. But one of the points is like communication.
Mhm.
And he said, well, first off, he got shit on a lot for his manifesto. But I read it and was kind of like, I don't really think I agree with like 90% of it,
Right.
which is weird. But he said, what's more, he's talking to his employees. He said, what's more important, that you got the email out to Fred telling him what needs to get done, or Fred understands what needs to get done?
Booyah.
He said, what's more important?
Yeah.
And that kind of like Mr. Beast for once. I was like, bro, you kind of baked my noodle with that one, because that is profound.
Yes. Well, should it be? Right?
It shouldn't be. That's why I was like, it's so profound, because why
Yeah.
did I not why did I never like
understand
put that in my own words? But like, damn, he's right. Because, we run our own businesses. We live in this project management world where it's like, all right, I got to get through 12 to-dos today. And what's important is that I like fire off all these emails and get all this stuff out of my playbook.
Yeah.
But you didn't really accomplish anything.
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why you got to understand.
So like, don't count the check until it's deposited.
Don't count. Oh my God.
But like, it's the same thing with this stuff. What's more important for you as a professional is that you understand the task. You understand how to do it. You understand your craft. Then you can leverage AI. It doesn't replace that.
It is. And again, I think this goes back to the habit that we've gotten modern day society into. Modern society has become utility first.
Yeah, we really have.
And because
cheap
we've
utility
become,
on top of that.
Because we've become utility first, the idea that I have to slow down to understand is like, I don't even understand your argument. Like, I don't even understand your positioning for asking me to want to understand when things are happening right now. I need to be a part of what's going on right now. And it has become incredibly problematic. And I think it's, interestingly, from a media literacy standpoint, I think it's one of the reasons why discourse has become so murky, is because of that same development of, I want to use first and I want to think about what I'm using second. That sounds a lot like, I want to respond on this comment first and I want to think about what I'm saying in my response second. You know what I mean? It's all about the utility.
I think you're right.
And I was talking to a friend of mine who's a guidance counselor. Shout out to my brother Kenneth Stokes over at Brooklyn Casey High School, is a guidance counselor over there. And we were talking about the space that students are in when it comes to AI, and how we have such an incredible opportunity to make sure that they understand its use.
Yeah.
Because they could really fly if instead of a lot of schools, and you see this at colleges, I think the University of South Carolina just recently came around on this recently, but a lot of schools are against AI. However, I think many schools aren't taking the time to step back and say, wait a minute, here's an education opportunity.
Yeah,
we
sure.
should be putting some type of AI training inside of our math, inside of our English, inside of our science, so that kids understand how to apply AI tools that are related to those industries, and how to utilize these tools in a way where they can understand how to apply them to those industries. They will be able to move a lot faster and farther, very similar to how we do as entrepreneurs, about understanding how to use those tools to enhance what we do, as opposed to a kid is only thinking about utility.
Well, yeah.
And
like,
so of
I
course
need to write
they're
this
like, paper, ChatGPT, write my paper. When you're like, no, what chat can actually do is help you plan out your next 5 years of how you're going to get into your career. And let me show you how to do that, as opposed to not participating and treating it like some kind of, we just want you to turn it off, or we don't want to address it, when you're supposed to be the comprehension folks. It's your responsibility as educators, I think. And so
well, they got to catch up too.
This
might be the problem. We can have a whole conversation about education.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Higher education and where it's at.
For sure.
It's in the gutter. But so we kind of kicked this off complaining.
Yeah. We were doing a lot of whining.
And I've recently, it's not more than just Greg, but like I've had other people. I've actually had clients send me, like, we were talking about that, like, hey, can you just do this? This is what ChatGPT says to do.
Yes.
I'm like immediately enraged.
Yeah, immediately. Immediately. But again, you don't understand the rules.
Right.
They don't understand the rules.
Well, rule number 1 is don't send me that shit. But I sent some links.
Yeah, you did.
We have to go through all
really good ones.
It's a lot of stuff, but
pick the ones that were at the top, because you sent me some great.
Yeah, there's one I want to talk about. It's this Reddit post about I'll read a little bit. A Reddit user shared how ChatGPT turned her once manageable design job into nonstop requests. And so her quote is, "People who never created content before are flooding me with AI-generated ideas, expecting polished designs by the end of the day." So early in her career, she would do 1 or 2 things a week, design-related. Now they're wanting like 12.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, this sucks.
Yes. It does. It does. It does. That fits right within what we're talking about. And I think what the public needs to be thinking about again is I don't know. It's hard for me to say this when I say, what the public needs to be thinking about, because there's just no infrastructure for them to think about it.
Yeah.
Again, everybody's just been given these tools, and there is no regulatory body that exists currently that is some sort of onboarding for someone to know that how these tools can be used. The only thing that we know is what we know about what they can be used for. It's a very, very low limited knowledge, very similar to, what we're dealing with smartphones still, right? Most people, even my mom, today, are still like, I don't really know what this thing is I'm looking at, or what, how this works. And Sherrod, can you show me how to send a picture? You know what I mean?
Well, not only that, but the,
You know what I mean?
the social, how do I say it? the social implications of the smartphone, right? Like we go to lunch and my phone's here and I'm constantly looking at my phone. Yeah, sir. Yeah. I'm not really listening to you. I'm looking at my fucking phone.
Yeah.
People don't even understand the social construct of like, bro, I'm right here. Don't ignore me.
Yes.
The same thing with the stuff we're talking about. Like our client doesn't understand the social construct of like, hey man, respect my professionalism. Don't send me a logo you shat out in 5 minutes from Sora.
Yeah.
And tell me to just polish this.
And the reason why that's so
like, fuck you.
The reason why that's so important, it is the respect level of human respectfulness. However, there's also understanding that you don't know. There used to be, prior to right now in human society, a level of I don't know, right? And we have been trained to think that because I have a tool, I know. But there's a difference between a tool.
That's what we're talking. Yeah.
You knowing.
You have access to the knowledge.
You have access
but
to
you
the
have
knowledge,
not internalized the knowledge.
But you don't know.
Right.
And that has become a part of how society operates. And so now we're thinking, we've forgotten that we used to call a plumber when something was wrong with the sink. We've forgotten that I need to go to the mechanic because something's wrong with the car.
Right.
Instead of call somebody to fix the roof.
Yeah, man.
Because we don't know how to
Our
fix
fathers
the roof.
weren't like that.
Not at all.
Or at least mine wasn't. He'd be like, well, shit, the roof's leaking. We'll just reshingle the roof, boy. Get up there. Like, but now I'm like, I'm not going up there.
Well, here's the other thing, though. A lot of times those guys, like my grandfather was like that, but my grandfather knew how to reshingle a roof. It's not like he was just going up there freestyling.
He didn't get that shit off the internet. It didn't exist.
No, he knew how to do it. or was at least willing to try to learn.
I think.
And there's not even.
I think that's the big secret. I think that's the big secret. Is that they didn't know. They were just like, well, fuck it. We gotta figure it out. And they just did it. And that spirit is what permeated all that stuff. Whereas we've lost that spirit because we rely on, like you're saying, we rely on this digital bullshit.
We're not even trying to learn. We're not even trying to learn. Like, and here's the thing that's so interesting about, let's take that same scenario that you're talking about here in the story, where someone is sending this designer all of these designs out of ChatGPT. That same, or whatever platform you're using, that same AI platform you're using can teach you about design in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it can teach you all that stuff. Yeah.
Before you send all this stuff over to that person, how about instead go, how long does it take, or what are the steps of the good design?
Yeah.
And what does that process look like before I just shoot this over to someone? Yeah. What is the process of website building, and what is the internal structure of CSS, and why is that important to how a website functions? Like, read that first to get some understanding.
Take our time to do that. We want that.
Why?
We want to skip those steps. That's what you're talking about.
Again, I don't care about understanding. I care about utility.
Yeah.
And that is not something that would have even been welcomed in my grandfather's day.
Yeah, no.
Even in my father's day.
Like,
no.
man, get out of here with that.
If you're going to go up on that roof, excuse me, we're going to take our time. And even if I've never done it before, let's try to figure out how these shingles are on the roof.
That's right.
How to separate the shingle from the nail. Let's figure out like the very basics before we just go to town and punch a hole in the roof. Yeah. Let's figure out this first before we do that. In fact,
I want more of that.
What our grandfathers, I'm sure your grandfather was same way. What my grandfather would do in a lot of cases was call that friend that does it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he'd come over and show you.
Come over and show you. You know what I mean? And that, again, I mean, how much of that, Gene? Now you got Greg's name.
I'm sorry.
Shout out to Greg. Hell to us, my buddy. How much of that, Gene, do you think is because there isn't a regulatory body?
I know you're big on regulating parts of it. I'm coming around like more and more. Like I think it's a lot of it because it's the Wild West, man.
It's the Wild West.
We're talking about AI, particularly Wild West is the outer reaches of space.
It's the wild,
the negative zone.
It's the wild space,
bro. Yeah, it's yeah. There's no rules.
I mean, at all. No rules at all.
And this is I know you got a hard stop in a little bit, but I want to talk about some of the super negative parts about it.
Sure.
Because that's kind of where my brain is. But like the way AI or LLMs or whatever, the way they've given them their information is from stealing information.
Yes.
From absorbing copyrighted information.
Yeah.
You can get transcripts to movies that you can't watch on YouTube without paying for it. And you can just ask it. And, and it's like, how did it get that stuff? So you're talking about regulation.
Yeah.
There is regulation for that stuff, but it's being ignored because the people in charge don't even understand how to apply the regulations to this brain.
Exactly. And that is now we're talking about the reason why a regulatory body is needed, because now we're talking about law.
We're getting there.
Right. And we're talking about law. And whenever you're talking about law, you're talking about rules.
What's this copyright law?
Determined by a regulatory body. And so the tricky thing about law that any lawyer will tell you is the devil's in the details. You know, I remember I'm a big fan of this podcast called Business Wars. And one of the episodes was about Tetris and how Tetris came to be.
That is a fascinating documentary.
By the way. It's so incredible. And one of the most interesting parts of that documentary to me was about how the company that first thought it bought Tetris only bought the arcade rights.
That's right.
Not the handheld rights. Right.
Well, I mean, if you follow Marvel movies, if you follow that world, like that's why the storylines are like they're written, because I own the rights to amusement parks and not actually Spider-Man.
Right. Fuck? I own the rights to Spider-Man TV episode.
Yeah, only if he's on TV.
Cinematic episode.
Yeah.
And so that's what's going on with what you're talking about copyright law when it comes to AI. Is there what that particular verbiage when it came to generative humanist technology that doesn't exist when it comes to the regulatory legal bodies of today. And so what the argument that the developers of the generative AI humanist tools argued was, we just use the same platforms that someone like Google used for search. And so that's the way that they were able to train these models. Is they just said art search, enter.
Yeah.
Right? And then it just searches the internet for everything related to art. And now you have an art database. Same way for literature, music, right? But however, what is missing in that intersection between search and turning this into a tool is now that tool is creating or hip hop is one of those things that we hip hop doesn't create anything. It like there's this
You're
phrase we
referencing
use.
things or
Yeah,
sampling
like,
things. But
right. We didn't create anything. We recreated everything.
see,
And
I think that's
what
bullshit a little bit
AI is,
though,
but
because
that's what AI is doing, right? It's
but
giving
a
Gene the
hip hop
opportunity.
artist
Mhm.
is sampling something.
Yes.
And the act of sampling it and arranging it in the way that they've sampled it
It's
is
recreating it.
creation.
I mean, I agree.
That's not what AI is doing.
However, the ingredients of what we're creating with, you can't take away.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Because someone created those ingredients first. However, that is a part of human nature, right? Whether you're
Yes.
talking about dishes, whether you're
Right.
talking about fashion, you know, dishes come about from when other cultures moved to other places, and now people in Kenya have access to Indian spices. So now you end up with like a different kind of chapati.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it, but you can't ignore
Thank
that.
you very much. Yes.
Had Indians not moved into Kenya, these new
Right.
recipes would not have existed. And so hip hop is the same way. And that's exactly my point when it comes to AI. And what unfortunately what has happened is that intersection of someone creating the stuff and it being able to search and find that information at that intersection. Nobody says, okay, well, what if somebody creates something based on that?
Yeah.
Right. Which is how hip hop got into trouble. Right. In the early 80s. I mean, if you listen to any Public Enemy, Bomb Squad's production, some of those songs had over 1,000 samples in one song. Right. Which was amazing recreation of this musical landscape. When you listen to a song like Bring the Noise, that is incredible.
Yeah.
They'd be like, wow, how did they pack 1,000 samples into one song? But then the people that made those ingredients were like, hey, yo, you got to give me some credit for using, you know what I mean?
It's only because it's popular.
Y'all just made 1 million, you just sold 1 million copies of something that has my stuff on it. I should get some credit for that. Which is also fair.
Yes, they should.
Which is, I had this interesting conversation with Shane Bennett, Ultravision, one of the guys that works with us a lot at OTR. He's a big tech guy. And we were having this conversation about AI. And I had this, I presented him with this idea. I'm going to throw it at you. I was like, what AI should do, what AI companies should do is find a payment structure to use the NFT tagging strategy.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Yeah.
To pay artists residuals whenever someone creates something that's AI based that can give them a residual payout whenever they use a piece of their work.
The NFT would sort of tag the actual the canonical original version.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, what do you think about that? And I was like, and you could have like AI, like you could have like paid AI.
Yeah.
You could even have artists that create stuff just to put in the AI for search. Right.
Well, that's Gary V's V-Friends from day one. This was sort of his vision was, but nobody wants a JPEG of a cartoon animal. It's got to be something cool, like an actual hook in a song.
But at least with that infrastructure, knowing, and this is the thing, we know AI is pulling from search data.
Yeah.
So since we know that, instead of just saying, oh, this new artist was created by AI, let's just say, okay, this artist took a little bit of Ari Lennox and a little bit of, John Legend. And we know that went into this sound because we can hear it and hearing it back, that it sounds like these specific bands. Let's make sure we give them a piece of that pie.
You talking about the Velvet Showdown, Velvet Sundown, or
there
whatever?
You go. Yeah,
you've been paying attention to some of that.
Velvet Sun. It's just a
and all the white people are like, I really like this. And we're like, I created white people music. Yeah.
It why you like it. It's created based on the stuff you already like.
Brain algorithm.
Yeah. And it's like all of those bands that it's pulling from to create those words and that music should all get a piece of that pie. Like if we're gonna make it fair, but then again,
so weird, dude.
Then again, that to me is where I was listening to this. There's this guy. I'm gonna mess up his name, but I think it needs to be mentioned. If I'm gonna quote this, his name is Mustafa Suleyman. He's the CEO of Microsoft AI. He was one of the guys that founded DeepMind.
Yeah.
And there's this quote, I literally saved it for this show when we were talking about AI, because he's a big fan of the state and regulation like I am, and people understanding what the function of the state is. And the reason why we have a governing body is to create a non-biased entity that its only goal is the common good. That is the function of it. How that's been played out over time when you get humans involved has been very, very bad in a lot of cases, and in some cases been pretty damn good. However, that is the common good. And he has this quote. He was on Trevor Noah's podcast recently and said, friction is important for maintaining peace and stability. And the analogy he used was, the less people you have doing something and the more specialized it is, it's easier to regulate. But if you have no friction and the cost of execution is zero and scale can be near instant, that's an automatic chaotic environment.
Yeah.
And that's really where we're seeing
we are.
the area now when it comes to regulation, specifically when we're talking about AI, is not only is it fast, not only is it instantly scalable, not only is it available to the masses, it's happening so often that makes it a very difficult monster to control or contain. However, that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be, because if it isn't controlled or contained, what the creators of this tech have to do, if the regulatory bodies aren't, is figure out, where do we stop?
Yeah.
Because capitalism is not created to say, where do we stop?
No.
Right?
Well, yes. Well, we need government to sit on top of capitalism to regulate it. You have to regulate it. So we have monopoly laws and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
This is
deep.
Regulation. It's not necessarily AI, but we were riffing about a bunch of stuff, but this is not our Charlie Kirk content that we're putting out in the world.
Yeah.
It's more about a thing I noticed was, I don't know about you, but I did not want to see that.
Oh man.
And
Again.
I saw it within probably 10 minutes of it actually happening.
Oh man.
On about 16 different accounts, like a 4K right up front video of that shit. And that's one of the things where I was like, man, like a year ago, that shit would have been taken down.
Yeah.
Like Zuck would have pulled that shit off.
Yes.
I mean, not personally, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like to pick on Zuck, but like
Facebook would have.
It would have been regulated internally by the company.
Yes.
And they've dumped
a bunch of the,
easy
to do.
Well, they've dumped a bunch of the regulations and stuff because of the Trump and all that stuff. But like that, I bring that up because we're talking about regulation, and somebody listening to this might be like, what the fuck are they talking about regulating shit on ChatGPT? But like, that's a great example where you've got to have some sort of regulation.
Yeah.
Because humans of all ages on Instagram saw literal murder.
I'm trying to think when the rule changed in sports. I think it was Marcus Lattimore's hit. I think it was his. I can't remember which hit it was. I don't remember if it was his or if it was an NFL hit, when the NCAA and the NFL made the decision to say there are certain hits we're not going to replay. Right? They made that decision a few years ago. Even now, like, if there's a hit that injures someone or someone suffers a bad injury, and you might see it, if you didn't see it live, they're not gonna re-show it, and they'll scrub it, right? So it doesn't live on the internet. So you can't see this guy's broken leg flailing, 10,000 or 1,000,000 times whenever you go to YouTube. That is the same sort of regulations that we need in these particularly social media spaces, for the same reasons.
Well, AI is an interesting area. I know you got to come back for part 2 of this. There's so much shit here.
I can let's go to 12:15.
There's so much shit here.
Yeah. You can cut that 12:15 part out.
I don't edit shit. You should know that by now. The camera could fall over. I wouldn't edit it out. I would edit that out. but we're talking about regulation, but like that's an interesting area with AI, with generative video
Yeah.
and things like that. Like, and we're seeing it a lot with the Trump administration using
Mhm.
AI, like putting him in things, and
Oh,
his
man.
actual
Oh, man.
his address to the world, essentially to the nation,
Mhm.
was AI augmented video,
Yeah.
because there was a thing about his hand and
Yep.
where they're splicing things together. And I know
Mhm.
that's, it wasn't like a totally AI version of Trump, but like there are videos where you talk about sexually explicit things and all of that stuff. Like
Mhm.
they got to be some regulation there, man.
I mean, I think it
I
is
can't
the
just put your
next.
head on somebody else and make a video of you having sex
It
with someone
has
and
to
then send it to your
happen.
wife and be like, well, if you don't give me $50,000, I'm gonna send this to your whole family.
And Gene, I'm just not really sure why. I'll have to talk to someone that understands human psychology a ton more better than I do. Why in America, particularly why we're so opposed to regulation, because we're so we rely on it. We rely on regulation so heavily, whether you're talking about speed limits, whether you're talking about the food that we buy at the grocery store, whether you're talking about does that restaurant have an A on it or a D, like
It's
whether or
there.
not, we rely. I mean, we whether or not this person is certified to come into my house and work on anything, like those are all regulatory bodies making those decisions that we live by. Like
man.
is this a cop? Is this a real cop? I want to see your badge. Like,
Needs a number on it.
yeah, isn't
Your
or
gun
not,
needs a serial number on
because
it.
if I can't verify it, then I don't. And so it's
Well, there's
really
something to
interesting
that.
to me. Yeah. What's your take on that? Like, why
Why?
are we so anti?
It feels un-American, but it's like you're saying it's not. And I have not parsed this with any kind of research, but there's got to be some propaganda from wherever side you want to pick out there that sort of like puts it in my head that like regulation is bad.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
But it's not.
Like literally,
Over-regulation is bad.
Over-regulation is bad. However, like think about it like this: the reason why we have the American society we have today is because of regulation.
Right.
Right? Like the reason why our country functions so well, whether you're talking about the lights working when you go to the stoplight, whether you're talking about, an email being sent and you getting another email response back quickly, whether you're talking about the way you exit ramp a highway, and whether or not
the speed limit,
speed,
the yellow lines, the white lines and the yellow lines in the highway.
We were talking about this earlier.
What keep you from?
You don't understand how good regulation has made America until you go to visit until you travel internationally. And
you ever driven in a third world country?
Yes. And then you go to some
not even a third world country.
Not even
Italy.
Yeah. Italy.
You tried to cross the street in Rome?
Yo, the way the roads are designed.
Bro, they told me, they were like, you're in Rome.
Yeah.
You can cross the street. You just need to start fucking walking.
the
guy was like, don't look at them.
No.
Just go. They'll
Just
stop.
Go.
You're going to feel like they're not going to stop, but they'll stop. But don't look at them.
Yo, traffic in Rome is wild.
But they need a little more regulation, bro.
But again, the regulation when it comes to how the roads are designed and what the rules of the road are completely different. And you don't understand what regulation and how it benefits society, particularly here in America, until you go to other places. Food, the way that you consume meat or vegetables is so regulated in this country, where you go to another country and you have no idea, which Americans, it's funny, Americans will travel internationally and feel so like, I'm not eating that. I'm not drinking that. I don't know where that's come from.
Where'd that water come from?
And the reason why we have,
and sometimes you lose on that roll of the dice.
Yes. But the reason why we have what we're used to,
for
is
sure,
because of someone created water regulations and someone created sewage and sanitation regulations here that they do not have in other countries. There's rules for sanitation where I've been to countries where, there's trash everywhere.
Sure,
the sanitation system and the regulatory bodies have not created rules for sanitation. And so it's interesting to me, a country that's just had its order and organization is so regulated and we love it so much. Maybe that's the reason why we hate it so much, because we
Maybe.
don't even notice it.
Yeah.
We become so used to it. We just hop on a plane and fly, and we're not thinking for a second that the flight routes are regulated, the seat status is regulated.
We've been relying on the companies themselves to regulate themselves.
Yeah.
Like this channel, YouTube, like it's up to YouTube to decide whether this thing should be put up. Yeah, it's like, but if you're on TV, on the actual television broadcasted network, there are rules, words you can't say, and
it should be all the way around.
Certain things could be shown.
It should be all the way around. Those same rules should apply all around. And the reason why is because those rules create an order that is those rules create an order that functions for the common good.
Yeah.
Because that's the role of the governing body. Is what is the common? Does it serve the common good to yell fire in a crowded theater? No, it does not.
Right.
Because you can hurt people. Right? Instantly, someone could die all because you yell fire in a crowded theater. Which is why you have to have regulations on all these podcast platforms. You don't have a choice, because someone's going, like a Joe Rogan, is going to go on a podcast and say something about bleach or something you can take for your body. And then next thing you know, all that,
but yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And then it becomes a part of it to me. And really, I shouldn't say to me, to all of us, we should go, wait, that's a direct equivalency to yelling fire in a crowded theater. Does that serve the common good to be able to put this out there? Which is why a broadcaster or someone on TV can't say certain things on the air, because it doesn't serve the common good. And that is one of those contracts that we enter in when we say we're going to pay taxes and be a part of this, any society.
We need a little help. And particularly how that applies to AI right now, because the internet, social media, that's the Wild West, and AI is even so much farther out.
Yeah, man.
Beyond that peer of like where all those other things are. I mean, you're talking about a social platform like Instagram or whatever. I mean, ChatGPT is way past that shit.
It's way past
in terms of what you can get out of it.
Yeah, and
you can get around there's some rules in place, but you can get around them pretty easy.
And I think particularly for me, my stance is, again, is the self-defense stance.
Yeah.
Like, I think what we often do, at least in most recent years in modern society, is putting the onus on the employer or the person that has created it, which doesn't make sense when it comes to how business works. No, that should be a regulatory body.
Yeah.
But the onus should also be on us educating people so they can have some sort of self-defense, particularly when it comes to humanist generative AI. And I particularly mean like video and images, right? Yes, there should be some responsibility of a Facebook or whatever platform that you're interacting with to say this is AI.
Some level,
we gotta let you know this is AI. However, you should also not be relying on that to be able to understand what you're reading.
So you're not going to do their job.
Oh, what you're looking at.
They don't care.
You also need to be educated, which is why we made it not necessarily a rule, but why we created a system that allows for everybody to be publicly educated so that people can function in society and be literate, right? And if we don't create that in this AI environment, we're leaving humans vulnerable to, oh man, I don't want to use the word, but it's true. Like, we're leaving humans vulnerable to be susceptible to a fascist regime or a dictator regime. Because now we're looking for someone else to be in control. We're looking for someone else to figure out how to help me, as opposed to me being knowledgeable and educated, so I have some sort of control for myself, similar to what you're teaching when you do self-defense classes. Yes, it's great that we have police, but maybe you should also know a little bit of self-defense in case somebody attacks you until the police get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's probably pretty smart.
Yeah.
Well, I love it, man. Let's please come back. Let's sooner than later. I usually make sure you're on here every quarter, but like
Yeah.
let's do something sooner.
Let's do it.
There's so much more. We could do another hour.
Yeah, man.
Too.
There's a lot of stuff you sent me we didn't even get a chance to touch on.
So much more
that I really like to talk about, to unpack a little bit.
So
yeah,
stay tuned for part 2. We'll figure it out. But thanks, man.